The idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. The people who hold that our culture is an oppressive patriarchy, they don't want to admit that the current hierarchy might be predicated on competence. I'm not against women's rights. I'm against rights for women that infringe upon the rights of men. Men and women are not the same, and they won't be the same at the extremes. It's not obvious that the way that our society is constructed right now, that women are underrepresented in tech or in STEM fields in general. If you want to look at how society is constructed, women do better in countries that are more egalitarian. I think one of the great errors of the modern feminist movement is its failure to address the role that women played and do play in determining the nature of the societies that we live in at least as much as men. I'm very, 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 very concerned about the collapse of the family and the vulnerability of women in particular to the radical left. If we don't produce children, we don't have a society. It's a bad strategy. It's not surprising that women dominate early childhood education. It's a female-dominated environment, and that's fine. There are serious reasons why women don't get the same pay as men. It's not a wage gap, it's a career gap. In many ways, it's more difficult for women to make a decision about having a family than it is for men. If women are trying to be the same as men, well, that's not helpful because women aren't the same as men. Women don't get to have a family and a career and as much power as men have in the workplace. It doesn't work. Part of the problem with the division of labor is that it exacerbates the differences between men and women. You can't make a single rule for men and women because they're not the same. I don't know what the optimal policies are for maximal liberation and equality, but I'm pretty sure that enforcing equality of outcome is not the right way to go about it. It's okay for men to be nurturing, but it's not the same thing as a woman being nurturing, and so it's not okay for men to be vulnerable in the same way. You have to be a fool to think that we can organize society along the lines of the Marxist doctrines. I don't believe that equality of outcome is something that should be striven for. That's already been demonstrated. It's a bad idea. A dominance hierarchy is a reflection of how much status you have accumulated in the eyes of other people. Feminism as an ideology, as a force, has been far from positive. I think that the insistence that you're the same as a man is deeply pathological. If you're an unhappy, lonely, unsuccessful woman, the last thing you want to hear is that it's your fault. The fact that people don't want to take into account the differences between men and women is an indication of just how absolutely obsessed we are with the notion of equality. The idea that a functional society can be predicated on equality of outcome is a really bad idea. Women are more agreeable than men on average, and agreeableness is an essential part of a compassionate, nurturing, and caring society. It's always good for people to have the opportunity to be anything they want to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be equally interested in doing anything they can be. The idea that there's an unconscious pay gap between men and women is complete rubbish. I believe that the social justice types, the postmodernists, let's say, are responsible for a lot of the polarization that we're seeing and the things that are driving young men into the arms of the radical right.